What's up everybody, Fortefyre here. Today we're doing a very special video, and the whole context of it is an Ask Me Anything. We accomplished a major milestone on the channel. You know I love celebrating milestones, and in this case it's 1 million views, which is massive because I never expected to get more than 100. In fact, when I got my first 10, I was happy, even though 5 of them were probably me. So thank you to everybody on the other side of that computer, on the other side of the screen for making this happen. Thank you to all the firefighters for making everything I do every single day rewarding. It's a very rewarding experience, and I love creating videos for you. I don't create videos for robots, I create them for you. So hopefully someone out there has a good day because of the videos that I make, and that's all I care about. If one person can smile after watching my video, my mission is complete. But that being said, I did put out a Google Forms, and some people responded. They gave me questions, and we're going to be answering those today. I have not read this. I haven't seen this. I just pulled it up. In post, I'm going to cut it out and put it above my head so you can see the questions. They are all anonymous, and I don't know what the content of them are going to be. If they're going to be nice, if they're going to be trolly. But if they're trolly, just know I'm not going to hold back because mama didn't raise no bitch. All right? Let's begin. Did you ever get involved with gaming contests or events? Way back whenever I was a kid, Dad was in the radio business, and he had a lot of access to like these electronic shows, and at some point there was something down in the Centroplex in Baton Rouge. That's what it was known as before it got rebranded to the River Center, or whatever it's called now. I think it's the Raising Cane's River Center. But there was this contest where you could play Super Smash Brothers, and if you won, you were put into a drawing for a Dreamcast, and I didn't win. I'm actually really bad at Super Smash Brothers. Alternatively, there was another time when we went to the Mall, Louisiana, which happened all the time because I loved going there. My family loved going there. And there was an electronics boutique, you know what I'm saying? EB Games. And they had this GameCube demo kiosk running FZero GX. And I guess they were doing some promotion for it to where if you did the race and you got a certain time, you'd win a prize. It was a contest. Problem was, I was the only person who applied for it. So I won a t-shirt. And that t-shirt looks like this. I'm pretty sure I can find it on the internet. If not, I'm just gonna put a picture of Gary Busey. Hopefully there's no Gary there. Would you prefer a Super Smash Bros. Adaptation to be a movie or a TV show? TV show. Do you think an adaptation should take inspiration from Melee's Adventure Mode, Brawl Subspace Emissary, and Ultimate's World of Light? I think that they should take inspiration from all of that, but leave it to the people who did Secret Level on Amazon, because those people know how to make video game themed films, snippets, vignettes, whatever you want to call them, TV episodes. If you haven't seen the Mega Man one, that should have been like the writing on the wall that they should be allowed to make a full-length series. But what do I know? I'm just a boy. What are the top 3 new consoles, microcomputers on your list to grab next chance you get? As we go through the genre gauntlet on stream, there's some things that I do want. I would like to get a Gamecom. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Can I stream it? No, I can't. But it'd be nice to have it, so at least I have some insight onto the library of games that existed on there. Because there were some pretty heavy-hitting games on there, be it Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Sonic the Hedgehog. I think there's a Jurassic Park game. That's the one that I cared about. Sorry, everybody's sick. Children are harbingers of the plague. Other than that, I've kind of slowed down because Daddy ain't made of money. But if you want to see my dream list, there it is. No Gary Busey this time. I know I can find this. Are there any levels or enemies from the Mario and or Zelda series that were like childhood nightmares for you? I was not a big fan of the water temple, not because it scared me, just because it was bullshit. And my kids, fun fact, also refused to deal with the bullshit, so I assume they would think of it the same way that I would. What's the ugliest Nintendo 64 world you've ever seen? Superman 64. What's the ugliest original PlayStation world? Shadow Man. Were you ever intrigued by a video game world as a kid or a teenager? I wanted to live in the world of Hyrule. You know, that's the cool thing about playing all these games, that you get a chance to imagine going into these roles and these worlds that you would never be in. And for me, that's what Ocarina of Time was. Great question. Were you ever big on collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon cards? I actually have one on my desk. Yu-Gi-Oh! I never cared to play the game. I never watched the anime, and I sure as fuck didn't read the manga. But I collected these because that's what all the cool kids did. Do you have any favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters? Wadapon. Or Dare Frog. Frog. Frog is just a frog, and this pleases me. Do you miss Iceman and Wing Commander? No, fuck them. What to you makes a text adventure good or bad? So when you're talking about text adventures, it's all based on the words, right? You'll hear me say so often that these developers had a monumental task because they were creating worlds with words. Literally, there were no like infographics, there was no scene, there was nothing but the text that was scrolling down the wall. So if you're playing games from Infocom, it can be very boring. Or if you're playing, Zork, it can be boring as shit. That's also Infocom. I don't even know why I did that. But text adventures, they're some of the purest, oldest forms of adventure games, and I love them. And what makes them great is a combination of two things. Number one, the world that we're seeing through the words, and number two, the text parser. If you have a very efficient text parser, it makes navigating the game a little bit better. But if there's some stringent rules or stupid methodologies behind the text parser, it will ruin a kid's time every single time. What's your opinion on sponsorships for your videos? I was always curious. I'm not a big fan of sponsorships because I don't believe in selling out my creative energy for wishful thinking. I think we've all watched AVGN for a long time and remember a time where we could just watch an episode and not have to worry about him fucking pushing NordVPN in our face in the first 10 minutes. Like, it's so stupid. Some people do it in the middle of their videos. They'll be like, you know what? Speaking of awesome video games, you should take a break. You could do that by eating Boston baked beans. It's just dumb shit like that I don't want to be a part of. And as a streamer, you get those sponsorship things all the time, either by Raid Shadow Legends or HelloFresh. And again, it's wishful thinking. For me to be big into a sponsorship, it would be something that radically changed my life to a capacity that I feel can genuinely help others. For example, feeling everything all at once, or maybe nothing at all? Introducing venlafaxine, because your brain has clearly given up on regulating itself. Venlafaxine boosts your mood by blocking reuptake of serotonin and norepinephrine, which are either neurotransmitters or just made up words psychiatrists say to sound sexy. Side effects may include nausea, insomnia, sweating, dizziness, confusion, crying at commercials, telling your boss how you really feel, and turning into a sea cucumber emotionally. Effexor has helped me through everyday instances. You see, I used to care about everything, and now I care about nothing. And as a father of 5, you never know what's going to come your way.
Dad, can't go into the super glue. I glue my butt.
Don't take venlafaxine if you've taken an MAOI or if you're allergic to medications, responsibilities, or commitment. Ask your doctor if venlafaxine is right for you, or just Google it like the rest of us. Venlafaxine may cause you to overthink your high school years, fall in love with your therapist, or believe you're finally ready to start a podcast. Use responsibly or recklessly. We're not your mom. Venlafaxine. When life gets you down, fuck it. What's a skill that you would like to learn? Japanese. I really want to learn Japanese because that would unlock an entire archive of video games that I can't play right now that aren't translated. That's a big deal to me. If Robera Williams ever came back for King's Quest, how would she handle it? Probably not as good as you would think. I think she's done a pretty good job of separating herself away from it, and I think the reason she did that is because everybody was so fucking cruel to her whenever King's Quest 7 wasn't that great. Mask of Eternity, so is what it is. Did you feel fulfilled at your previous job working on planes? No. Are you feeling better or worse about your newer job in a similar field? It's just a job. Do you have any advice for someone who wishes to make videos like yourself? I guess I'm asking how I can be like you. Well, that's a two-part thing, but we're going to address that final part first. Don't worry about being like me because you're not going to be me, and I'm not going to be you. And that's a magical thing. Your identity and your ideas are unique to you, and mine are unique to me. That's what makes us awesome as people, right? I think one of the biggest pitfalls that people come into when they're trying to make videos for really any topic is that they do it in such a way that emulates the people that they loved watching, right? Like for me, AVGN. I wanted to be the next AVGN. Everybody did. I mean, fuck, that was an entire generation of people. Irate Gamer, all of those people who were angry at video games, loud and vulgar. That's what I tried to do. And when you do that, I think your mind expects you to be as successful as that person is, and that puts you in a very dark place. So don't worry about being like me. Be yourself, give a damn, and most importantly, have fun. And most importantly, number 2, never lie to your community. Be honest about your intentions and never go back on your word. Have fun. What were your favorite Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon cartoons from back when both channels were good? I never watched Nickelodeon. I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark, and then that never went back on that channel ever again. But for Cartoon Network, I really liked Freakazoid. That was a good one. Have you played any of the games like Duck Dodgers from the former Cartoon Network website? Yeah, I was huge on CartoonNetwork.com. There was tons of stuff you could do. I remember Resort was like a Resort Quest or something. I remember Johnny Bravo's Pancake Stacker at Pop's Bakery or Diner or whatever it is. There were tons of great games there, and most of the Flash games I played were either on Newgrounds or Cartoon Network, but I can't remember every single individual one. And hey, by the way, it blows that Flash is now not supported, because that's an entire legacy of video games that is gone. But luckily there are emulators. If you can find the files, you can play the games. Do you prefer the stories of Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy? I've only ever played Dragon Quest 1, so I can't really vouch for the entire franchise, but I am familiar with Final Fantasy, and I think I prefer Final Fantasy as of now. What Final Fantasy magic system from the games is your favorite? I was a huge fan of the Esper thing in Final Fantasy VI. The junctions in 8 weren't as bad as they could have been, so props to them. What's your favorite third-party gaming controller? 8-bit dough, grew up on a Super Nintendo, like how the Super Nintendo feels, and I can do everything I need to do with this. You know, some people will use PlayStation 4 controllers. I find that the connector at the top of the PlayStation 4 controller is really wiggly and loose, so I don't use it. What do you think is the best looking gaming gun made since the 2000s? The GunCon 2. That's the only one I owned, and it looked sleek, and it looked cool, and it looked edgy. But nowadays, the Send-In light gun has the whole blowback thing. I think it does, so it might be worth looking into. What is more important for you in a game to really enjoy it? Genre, story, mechanics? I think for me to enjoy a game, I need to have quality mechanics, right? I want a story that pulls it in together. I want artwork that works. It doesn't need to be, you know, an example of Adonis's left fucking testicle. It just needs to be presentable. And of course, music. As somebody with neurodivergent issues, music is a big deal to me. So if you have a game with amazing music, and even if the game is shitty, you can probably get a good rating out of me for your music alone. In some cases, for some of the games I've played recently, they were absolutely dog shit. The music actually bumped it up a grade, so mad props, Jurassic Park. Did you ever eat Sonic or Nintendo themed food like Sonic SpaghettiOs? No, I did not. Or perhaps cartoon or comic book themed food? No, I did not. Have you ever had a plush toy figurine of Yoshi or whatnot? No, I did not. Were your past shirts or pajamas ever themed after the Mario series and or Sonic? I mean, I have a shirt that says Super Daddy-O, but it's just stuff that the kids buy for me. Out of all the things you just asked, I did own one thing. It was based on a movie. Actually, technically two things. So Shrek came out and they released this gross ass green ketchup, and for the life of me, I wanted it. And then I put it on my chicken and I almost vommed, right? So my grandfather was pissed about that. But I had a Sonic the Hedgehog bubble bath. And the bubble bath had this little thing. It was like water rings. You'd push the knobs and it would shoot it up. If I can find a picture of it, I'll put it here. Might see Gary Busey on this one. What Nintendo IPs do you think would work well in a TV show format or would benefit from a new TV adaptation? I think Mario could pull it off. I mean, all of those old cringy 80s things, they're not bad cartoons. Like the Zelda Power Hour, whatever it was called, Legend of Zelda, Captain N, Mario, all of those were great. They were great in the 80s, and I think that they could make a return. I mean, Mega Man and Sonic have been doing good for themselves, but I don't know much about Nintendo IPs that would make a decent TV show. I think any of them would if they gave a damn. That's what it all boils down to. Secret level people, get them on it. What games do you really want to play, but you're cursing your rules of release? There's some. I really want to play Symphony of the Night. I really want to play Jurassic Park Evolution. I really want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. There's tons of games. I don't have a mental library of them, but there are tons. Have your kids read any old gaming magazines or guides? Nope, I don't own any. Do you like getting repro cartridges and or digital only retro games like Super Pockets for your kids? I don't buy them expensive things like that because they will 100% break it, but I do occasionally get repro carts by accident. I don't go out of my way to find them, no. Did you have any past gaming related accessories you wish you still had? Yeah, I actually talked about this the other day. So I had a Game Boy Color, and if you remember, the Game Boy Color was not backlit. So I had this thing that would like snap on the front, and it had like these French door speakers, and there was a magnifying glass. It was awesome. Buttered sausage. Did you ever need to replace anything other than gaming controllers for your gaming systems? I mean, right now my GameCube shit the bed, so I gotta replace the GD-ROM or whatever the hell is on the inside of that, the hard drive, or the whatever reads the discs. Other than that, I've had a pretty good track record. Did you ever watch any Digimon animation? I dabbled. What do you think of the best looking Digimon? Beelzemon, or whatever it's called, the weird gun biker dude. That's the only one I know about. If given the opportunity and you are fit, no health issues for it, would you return to service given if there are no age restrictions? If you would have asked me a year ago, I'd have been like, fuck no. Nowadays, I do kind of miss it. You know, that job security, the benefits, seeing the world. I want my kids to see the world too. I think that's important for them, but I think my time has passed. And even if I was in the best, knowing now how much time I lost to my kids being in the military, I don't think I'd do it. What beloved game do you think is overrated? Final Fantasy VII. Do you ever do charity streams or videos? I used to, but I have a very specific rule for, and the second part of this question actually hits it. What's your take on some of the industry controversies in terms of charity? So charity is a very dangerous thing to do. It all boils down to ethics, right? I personally, when I do charity things, I make sure that 100% no money goes into my fingers at all. So if I do something for charity, it's going to be through Tiltify. That way it goes directly to the charity and I have nothing to do with it, because it would rip me to shreds to get accused of keeping any form of charity money. No, don't want to be associated with that at all. I keep it strictly professional. So you will never hear me say, hey, if we get $500, man, I'm gonna match it. No, I can't make that promise, nor would I. I wouldn't, right? So everything goes through Tiltify. I don't really have any perks for people to donate. If you want to donate, you can donate, but I don't do those very often. And by the way, if you ever go to McDonald's and they say, hey, would you like to round up for Ronald McDonald's house? Understand that it's not that they're giving the money to the kids, it's that they're getting tax cuts. Charity is a very dangerous thing. If you could be a character in a video game, what franchise would you use and why? Oh wow, that's a deep ass question. Every game that I've played, the populace is affected by some bullshit that I don't want to deal with in my life. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. What are your thoughts on the rumored Xbox handheld? They'll knock it out of the park. It'll be better than Sony. How are you able to manage being such an amazing dad and YouTube/streamer? You put so much love into everything you do. Thank you for all of it. Look, guys, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy. Just like you. You know, everything that I do on this side of the computer, you're more than capable of doing yourself if you just sit down and learn how to do it. I started from nothing. I never went to school for graphic art design. I never cared to go to school for video production. I just struggled and I learned. And you can do it too. I think that my children are the reason why I'm such an amazing dad and YouTube streamer, because their presence kind of gave me a wake-up call that I don't want to hear them growing up on the other side of a wall. So I'm very efficient at managing my time and getting my videos out whenever I need to. And of course, having a powerful woman behind your back is just as good too. So Amanda's been a huge support pillar for everything I do. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a streamer. I wouldn't be a YouTube content creator either. And I hate the word content creator because it's fucking pretentious, but I wouldn't be making videos. You say you play tons of games. What's the oldest game you've played? I've played Pong on Magnavox Odyssey. I just haven't streamed it. If you watched Daytime Toonami, what was your favorite from that block during the late 90s and 2000s anime boom? What are your favorite Japanese and English vocal performances from anime? I don't watch as much anime to answer the second part of that question, but I watch the fuck out of Tenchi Muyo. Sailor Moon too. Any Magical Girls series or individual characters you like? I have no clue what that means. Like playing as any magic focused character? I mean, Vivi is dope, but I don't think that's a girl. What FZero cars would you like to pilot inside the FZero universe? I have played FZero once, not big on it, but probably Captain Falcon's one. Gotta go fast, right? Having access to all the Legend of Zelda series items and weapons, which one will you carry around on a fantasy adventure? I think having the bow and arrow is really cool. Get the hero's bow. Which The Legend of Zelda non-human and non-Hylian enemy would you want to live as for the rest of your life? Man, I don't know. Zora? I guess being a Zora would be cool. I mean, Kakariko Village. I guess just being a Hylian. I don't know. What was your biggest motivation to pursue a career on YouTube? My dad. And when he died, I lost that motivation. So thankfully, you all came up and filled that gap, because I probably wouldn't have made more videos if that last video didn't do anything. I just wanted to create something and move on, and you all motivate me every single day. How much should a new Mega Man cartoon be based on the game material versus being its own universe? Everything. Everything should always be based on game material. That's one of the biggest shortcomings for a lot of people who make adaptations of video games, is that they depart so heavily from what is already established, right? So The Last of Us, I feel that they did great. One Piece, a lot of people talk shit about One Piece, but I think One Piece is pretty good for what it is. But Secret Level knows what they're doing. Call them. Is there a game you fucked off that you ended up really enjoying on a second playthrough? Desert Strike. If so, what changed your mind? I learned how to play it. Are you or your kids big on trains? And if so, what real standard gauge and narrow gauge locomotives are your favorites? I don't know anything about trains, but I know for a fact that I love one train. It's called Dick in My Butt. Have you any familiarity with Dinosaur King or the early Bakugan stuff? There's a Bakugan game I need to play, but I know nothing about it. Sorry. Can you give your top 3 video game characters that greatly influenced your life? Commander Shepard, just because he's kind of stoic. Link, because he never talks to anybody. And the Stranger from Myst, because he just kind of exists. What is your earliest memory of a bad game? Probably Superman 64. Yeah, Superman 64. I remember going to Blockbuster and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is the future. And then I played it and I was like, oh my God, kill me. Would you rather wake up after an all-night bender in Raccoon City or Silent Hill? That's like asking me what color hammer I want to get smacked in the nuts with. The yellow or the red one, but the red one looks pretty. No. I think to go to Raccoon City would probably be better than Silent Hill because at least I could defend myself. In Silent Hill, you're only there because of some existential crisis, so Raccoon City. Sega Saturn or Dreamcast? Saturn. Have you ever considered swearing less? I'd like my kids to watch your videos, but the swearing is too much. Okay, so this is a question I was actually hoping to get because... Hi! What's up? Oh my goodness, I guess you have to come. So I started my career, saying basically whatever I wanted to say because I wanted to stand out amongst my peers. And sorry, Davina's here, she's not feeling well. And I'm not gonna not make a video because, and ignore my kiddos. So there was a point in time where I was basically saying anything that I would want to say. And as a result of that, I feel like I did kind of paint myself into a corner in terms of what I say and do. And I feel that if I was to swear less now, and I started pulling a demographic of younger viewers, there would be a potential that someone's kids would see and it would just be a pain in the ass. So I would rather have a blanket policy that my products are not for kids and that kids should not watch them unless under the supervision of an adult. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, I have lost sleep over the potential of not reaching an audience because of what I've said, but this is something I can't undo. I can't go back in time and fix it. So it's just, I mean, if y'all wanted me to swear less, I would swear less, but it would need to be a majority thing from y'all. Let me know down in the comment section below. What's the most beautiful 2D animation you've seen from an animated movie? I don't know what 2D animation is. Is it just flat? I'm a huge fan of The Last Unicorn, but I don't know if that's considered 3D or 2D. I don't know. What magic spells or abilities do you think look good in movies? Fireball! Video games. Fireball! And/or animation. Fireball! Can never go wrong with a fireball. I really do want to thank both you and your wife for the service you gave to your country. If it's not too personal or don't bring back too much bad memories, how long did you both serve? I served for 11 years. She did 11 years as well. We were in the Air Force. I fixed airplanes. She was command and control before retraining to training, and that's what she finished. She ended up getting medically retired. I ended up getting out on my own terms after my my enlistment went up. So yeah, can you tell everybody thank you? Yeah, can you say thank you? Oh my goodness. And that's it for me. There's no more questions. I wanted to take the time again to say thank you everybody for everything you've done for me. Hopefully, you got a laugh out of this video. Hopefully you learned a little bit about me. I love telling you all about myself. So if you ever want another one of these or you want another fresh batch of questions, let me know. I'd be willing to do it, hopefully without being interrupted by such a cute little monster over there that's not feeling good. But as always, from my family to your family, good energy, good vibes. Fortefyre out.